Hello, I'm Wendy Kirkland, developer and author of the T3 Trader's Edge. The T3 is a strategy that targets profits on upside down stocks. For those of you who know me from the P3 system, know that the P3 is a long pattern trading system. I've worked to find a complementary short-term system that is as easy to read and to project trades as the P3. And so you'll see that the T3 is a cousin to the P3 trading system. In the T3 book, it goes over the details, the indicators that create the pattern. Today I'm going to reinforce that information by actually covering the indicators that create the pattern, also looking at some stocks that are forming the T3. Then I'm going to go through the process that I actually use when I find a stock that meets all the criteria, and we're going to go through looking at the option chains and so forth, so that this is almost as if you're looking over my shoulder as I'm narrowing down my selection, my trade selection. The T3 pattern pinpoints expected downward thrusts of stocks. It signals a time to exit long position and to utilize bearish strategies. Those might be to purchase puts, which is the strategy that I'm going to cover in this recording, but you could also purchase call options on inverse funds. You could use it to utilize short trading strategies such as to sell call options or to short stocks. The T3 can be used for indexes, ETFs, as well as stocks. T3 creates a visible trading pattern that utilizes a combination of EMAs and a variety of different chart indicators. The EMAs are the 9, 15, 50, and 200. It also uses the TRIN or TRIN-Q, which is an arms index. You will decide whether you're going to use the TRIN or the TRIN-Q based on whether the stock is part of the New York Stock Exchange, the Dow, or a NASDAQ. And you will switch between one or the other depending on what stock you're using or looking at. The TRIX oscillates around the zero line and filters out noise. It functions as a leading indicator, and it's quite like the MACD or the PPO. The CCI Channel Commodity Index is designed to identify cyclical terms in stocks from being overbought to oversold. And then the ADX, Average Directional Index, shows trend and the direction of the trend through the DI lines. And we will cover each one of these briefly and add them to a chart so that you can see how they're used and how the information adds to the overall picture. The TRIN or the TRIN-Q. In this particular chart for Boeing, we have added the TRIN since it is a New York Stock Exchange stock. To insert the TRIN on your chart, you must add a $ to the symbol. Now, in a few slides from here, I will show you how to add each of these indicators to your chart and show you all of the specifics. And we'll do that in one kind of fell swoop once we've covered all of the different indexes, or not indexes, indicators, I'm sorry. The trend shows a ratio between the average volume of declining stocks in the New York Stock Exchange and the average volume of advancing stocks in the New York Stock Exchange. And it's this variance between the two that creates the line. Now, the arrows that I have placed on this Boeing chart shows you that the trend runs opposite to the candlesticks. So I have noted the areas where the indicator of the trend is going up while the candlesticks are going down on specific drops there. You can see that here the indicator is going up and it initiates a movement of downward. Here again it's going up and the candlesticks are going down. Up and the candlesticks go down. So this runs inverse to the actual candlesticks. Here is a large movement where it goes up a few jogs here, but goes up for a period of time. And you can see that this is a strong downward movement of the candlesticks. So this is our first indicator that we have added to the chart. We're going to add the others and then we'll go over how they are added to the chart. This is the tricks and it has been added below the trend. And it is specifically placed below the trend for a reason, and you'll see this shortly. The trend is made up of the 9 and 15 EMAs, and that creates the two lines. The 9 is the signal line, and the 15 is the tricks line. It oscillates over the 0 line here. It moves in the same direction as the candlesticks. And the red arrows indicate crossovers going up and the blue arrows crossovers going down. And I've marked these in the 3 places so that you can start getting the gist of the movement, so that you have the red arrows on the trend. If the cross is going up, the trend is going to be going down. The candlesticks are going to be going up. Remember that the trend moves opposite to the candlesticks, where the tricks is in sync with the candlesticks. So here we have a cross up, we have the trend moving down, and you have the candlesticks moving up. The blue is just the opposite. You have the trend line moving up, you have a cross down, and you have the candlesticks moving down. Here's another set of red where you have the trend moving up. A few days later you have the actual cross of the tricks crossing over, and you have the candlesticks moving up. Again, opposite, you have the trend moving up, you have the cross down, and you have the candlesticks moving down in conjunction. Now if you look at these, you'll see the trend actually starts moving away first, the cross happens second, and some of the weakness you begin to see in the candlesticks is also a leading indicator. And we're going to tie this all together, but we're going to add and go through the indicators first, and then we'll get the total picture. I want to fine-tune the tricks. As you saw, that it is a little bit of a lagging indicator, and so I have added a separate set of EMAs, the 10 and the 8. That is the pink and the teal lines here. And you'll see that they cross more in line with the actual drop, the beginning of the drop of the candlesticks. And the point of this, they have a few more whipsaws in them, as you can see right here, some false movement. But when you use it in conjunction with the 15 and the 9, it can give you a heads up and a little bit of an earlier entry and a little bit of an earlier exit, and helps you to nail the top and nail the bottom, I guess you might say. But the overall movement is between the tricks 15 and the 9. It is a smoother line and cuts out some of the whipsaws.